I'm Margaret Ann Windsor, and I'm showing this. It was in April of 1984, and I'd run in a congressional campaign to replace Larry McDonald, who was a U.S. Congressman and a doctor from Atlanta, Georgia. He was supposed to have gone down in the KAL in August the 31st of 83. Anyway, they knew the plane was going down. It was from Juneau, Alaska to Seoul, South Korea, and 260 plus passengers drowned when Larry McDonald was supposed to be on the plane. They knew it was going down, and they took former President Nixon off the plane just prior to liftoff. And I have been, well, I know the question has been raised, let me just put it that way, was Larry McDonald really on there? Because so much was going on with what happened about a book I was trying to get published in Mind Control. And they call these a Manchurian Candidate, but it's hard for people to wrap their mind around, I suppose, unless it happens to one of their children or them or their child. Mind control. That's what was used on the man that shot Larry Flint and shot George Wallace up in Laurel, Maryland. And that one is so blatant, if you ever hear it, it can be proven. They put him in a wheelchair. And I could go on, but you can create illnesses or cure it. And it's been going on since the Tesla files, probably way back before 30, but they were stolen then by the, well, oddly enough, Donald Trump's uncle was MIT professor, and supposedly he helped steal them. But he had, I hate to say this, but well, maybe I won't. The Illuminati had their hands on the files, and it's more than that. You'd have to see what was entailed in the files. So, to this lovely comment that I got from YouTube, and there's been some really nice people. So, this one, and I shouldn't give her credit here on another video, said, "Honey, you don't know what you're talking about." Well, I want to remind you that I've gotten nothing out of this. I'm not going to, obviously I bore her or and some people are very nice and caring. And I spoke with one recently. Couple, yeah. I'm going to turn this around. Mr. Flint says I know who's responsible for his shooting in Lawrenceville, Georgia, 1978. And he flies me out there in 83 in the campaign a couple of times and helps me. I'm going to try to turn this down or around, and hopefully you can hear me, and I'm not showing my nose, and, excuse me, but I have to laugh. What the heck can you do with it? So now then, somebody said, get to the point on here. Well, I'm trying to get to the point. This isn't fun for me. And I meant to stop if there were any more mind control murders. And believe me, I wish I had never had to be into it. It's not fun for me whatsoever. And it's cost me probably a lot. I do want to say this. If it was your child that had been programmed and went out and committed all these shootings, and it doesn't just have to be a gun, and like Scott Peters, he's on death row, or Timothy McVeigh, who was put to death for the Oklahoma City bombing. And Timothy McVeigh, I've put this up on quite a few times. He was with the U.S. military, and he said that the military put a computer chip up his buttocks. And I already had that one, though, because it was done in patterns. And like the others I've mentioned. Now, I'm going to stop here because I didn't mean to put these up. I really didn't. It's until I just viewed a little bit about the man, KATZ. His last name's KATZ. And that's a key word in this, the young man's name. It showed him, and now they're trying to say he had all these mental illnesses. He had been put in a hospital 6 times or something. This is programming, and this is what they have gone to. Anybody that steps out of line, or tells the truth, you can go out and handcuff them, and the cops will haul their, excuse me if I would use language here, but I feel like using it appropriately. I won't, I'll delete myself. Lock them up and call them mentally ill. Now, if this is ever told, and I hope I live where the press has to print it all, and it comes before a court that allows the truth, I guess, what are they all going to say about it? Because my telling it doesn't seem to resonate with some, but it does with others that don't mind accepting the truth. I couldn't make this up, for God's sake. What I will say, I need to get to the point, and it's not funny. It's exasperating. I wasn't going to say anything about the shooting in Jacksonville the other day at the gaming. Anyway, the young man's name was KATZ, and he turned around, as the other shooters do, most of them, and make it appear commit suicide, like the Virginia Tech, and I could go on and on. This young fellow did the same thing, and I forgot what they were saying this morning, all of it. I didn't catch all of it on the news. But it really upsets me because this was a young man. His life has ended. And unless history's corrected, his name be tainted, okay? Now, the Jacksonville police chief, or either it was the governor of Florida, Scott, I can't remember right at the moment, excuse me, but it was a couple of days ago when it happened, and he come on and he said there's more to all this. I can't, his exact words. It's not, in other words, it's not just a young fella going out for the heck of it and shooting up, and he didn't mention this part, that they claim it's mental illness. He said there was more to all these shootings, and should be, well, I don't want to say something, but more thorough investigation, etc. But you can kind of go from there. Okay, I wasn't going to mention this one, and I can already hear it. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm afraid I do, and I laugh to get through the hell of telling it, and it hasn't been fun at all. And also about my kidnapping. But the other one that I didn't mention, and these are, maybe I won't say that. I won't get into that. But the other one is the man that supposedly killed his wife up in Frederick, Colorado. And he's, I mean, people hate him. Supposedly he killed his 2 daughters, his wife, and unborn child, and they've even compared it to Scott Peterson a bit. Well, Scott Peterson was innocent, absolutely innocent, and he's on death row. So I ask you, especially, I'm going to give her a little credit. This person said, honey, you don't know what you're talking about. I know absolutely what I'm talking about. And, you know, I'm sorry that, you know, put yourself in this place. Anybody, this is to anybody. What if you'd been programmed and didn't know it? And you went out and committed these atrocities, and you're on death row, or it's your child. Would you not want to know about it? I forgot the other things they said about KATZ. Oh, you would think he was the worst human going from what they were talking about him, and he's dead, so they can't put him on death row. So I'm going to stop here. I didn't mean to put these two up, but I can go back and show you where I'm coming from on the KATZ and Frederick. Anyway, I guess that's all for today, and I wish all this, the media would be forced to tell it, and it'd come before, if it's a U.S. court, or for some reason I were able to return to the UK, and it go before Parliament, and the media forced to tell it. I hope it happens, or it's all been in vain, I guess, for nothing.